When you hear the words Stranger Things, most people think of monsters, bikes, and 80s nostalgia. But if you look closer, this show is built on real history, practical filmmaking, and carefully planned choices that most viewers never notice. And before we talk about Vecna, music, or the Upside Down, there are a few things you really need to know. First, Stranger Things almost never existed. Before Netflix picked it up, the show was rejected again and again. Studios didn't believe a story led by kids could carry emotional weight. Some executives even suggested turning Eleven into an adult character to make it more serious. Just imagine that version of the show. No innocence, no bikes, no emotional contrast. Netflix trusted the vision, and that single decision helped change streaming television forever. And honestly, do you think another platform would have taken that risk? Second, Hawkins was never the original plan. The story was originally set in Montauk, New York, a real place linked to conspiracy theories and secret government experiments. Budget and filming limitations forced the location change, but the idea stayed. That's why Hawkins feels so real. Peaceful on the surface, disturbing underneath. Have you noticed how Hawkins feels like a place where something terrible could actually happen? That feeling is intentional. Third, Eleven was almost silent. In early scripts, Eleven barely spoke. She was meant to be mysterious, distant, almost unreadable. But once Millie Bobby Brown stepped into the role, the writers realized something important. Her facial expressions and emotional reactions were too powerful to hide behind silence. So they rewrote the character, and that's why Eleven feels human, not just powerful. Now let's talk about one of the biggest myths surrounding the show. Vecna is not CGI. This surprises a lot of people. Vecna is created almost entirely with prosthetic makeup, not digital effects. Jamie Campbell Bower spent up to 8 hours a day in the makeup chair. What you see on screen is a real actor standing in front of the cast. And even more important, Vecna's voice is not digitally altered. That deep, terrifying voice you hear is Jamie Campbell Bower's real voice.
I saw a means to realize my potential, to transcend my human form.
That's why Vecna feels so disturbing. Actors weren't reacting to a green screen. They were reacting to a real presence. Now here's where Stranger Things gets even darker. The experiments at Hawkins' lab weren't just invented for drama. They were inspired by the real-life MKUltra project, where the US government secretly experimented on people using sensory deprivation, drugs, and psychological manipulation. Stranger Things doesn't recreate MKUltra exactly, but it borrows the fear. That's why Hawkins' lab feels unsettling, because experiments like this actually happened. And suddenly, Eleven's story doesn't feel like fantasy anymore. Another character who was never supposed to matter this much is Steve Harrington. Steve was originally written to die early.
He was meant to be a classic bully, nothing more.
But Joe Keery brought vulnerability, humor, and growth to the role. The writers noticed Steve survived, and slowly he became the protector, the babysitter, the emotional backbone of the group. Honestly, can you imagine Stranger Things without Steve? Now let's talk about the Upside Down, because this detail changes everything. The Upside Down is not a mirror version of Hawkins. It's frozen in time. Specifically, it's stuck on the day Will Byers disappeared. Buildings exist, but they don't change. Nature grows, but time doesn't move forward. Think about that for a moment. What if the only way to end the Upside Down is to return to where it all began?
Even the sound design of the show supports this feeling.
The eerie sounds you hear in the Upside Down aren't random. They're created using reversed animal noises, slowed machinery, and distorted echoes.
Your brain can't identify the source, and that creates discomfort.
It's psychological horror, not jump scares. And now we need to talk about music, because this is another big misunderstanding.
Running Up That Hill was not chosen randomly.
It wasn't just an 80s hit thrown in for nostalgia.
The Duffer Brothers and the music team discussed that scene carefully.
They wanted a song about inner struggle, escape, and emotional connection. That song didn't just save Max. It reminded her who she was. And here's a question for you. If music could pull you back from your darkest moment, what song would it be? Dustin's medical condition is real. There's a moment early in season 1 where Dustin explains why his teeth look different.
It was toothless. Told you a million times. My teeth are coming in. It's called cleidocranial dysplasia.
That wasn't just a line written for the show.
Gaten Matarazzo, who plays Dustin, actually has a real condition called cleidocranial dysplasia.
It's a rare disorder that affects bone and tooth development, often causing delayed or missing teeth and underdeveloped collarbones. What makes this special is that the Duffer Brothers didn't hide it or replace it with makeup. They chose to write it directly into the character.
That decision didn't just make Dustin more authentic, it made him more relatable. Instead of turning a difference into a flaw, Stranger Things turned it into representation.
11 was 11 in real life.
Millie Bobby Brown was only 11 years old when she was cast as 11.
What's incredible is that in season 1, she speaks very little. She has fewer than 50 lines of dialogue. Yet she still became the emotional center of the show.
Her shaved head wasn't just a shock factor either. It was inspired by Mad Max, Fury Road, specifically Charlize Theron's Furiosa, symbolizing strength through vulnerability.
Sometimes the most powerful performances aren't about what's said. They're about what's felt. And that's a wrap on some of the coolest behind-the-scenes facts and inspirations that make Stranger Things so unforgettable.
Which fact surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of our deep dives into your favorite shows. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.